Welcome back. Thank you for checking out the channel. Today we're talking Captain Marvel movie review, spoiler free. But before we get into that, if you like this type of content, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you're notified every time we drop new videos. So let's jump right into it. Eric, general thoughts?
Alright, general thoughts of this film. I like this film. I think it's a fun, good time. Obviously, it's not the best MCU film, but yeah, I still had a fun time with this film.
I really enjoyed this film from the beginning. It really grabbed me. The way they chose to tell Carol's story in a non-linear type of way and finding really good ways in telling her backstory without being the cliche origin story you see from heroes all the time. I really enjoy how they managed to sneak some of that stuff from her past and how it all coalesced at the end to give us a broader picture of who Carol was. What did you think of performances?
Performances go. I liked Samuel L. Jackson in this film. I also liked Brie Larson in this film, and yeah, that's all I gotta say. And yeah, Goose the cat is the best cat that ever cat this world.
As far as performances go, you guys have heard about the controversy with Brie Larson, people not liking how she was shown in the trailers. And I gotta say that all that is just the trailers. You really have to go in and watch the movie because she has to have a relationship with several different characters, and there's that chemistry. You feel like they have some type of good rapport going on between one another, and I really enjoy the aspect between her and Nick Fury. It was kind of like a throwback to like a Lethal Weapon or a Die Hard type of movie, and this movie does take place in the 90s, so it really meshes in really well with the story. Special effects, anything that stood out to you?
Special effects. The special effects were just as good as any modern day film, and the effects were really good.
Is there anything you didn't like from the movie?
Anything I didn't like is I know how you just said you like the way it's being told, but for me I think it's kind of messy, but I won't go into much deeper discussion because it's in spoiler territory.
For me, as far as negatives, it's something that I really can't speak of clearly because it is in spoiler territory. I just didn't like how there's been a thread throughout the MCU since the second phase that we really get an explanation for it, and for me it felt really flat, and I was kind of surprised that they chose to explain that particular thread in that manner. Anything else you want to add?
Anything else I want to add is the 90s references in this film is cool, and one to speak of, this isn't a spoiler because this was in the trailer, when she crash lands in Blockbuster. That was a pretty cool scene, and then yeah, the 90s stuff in the film blended in pretty well.
I really like all the 90s nostalgia type of stuff. I know for some people it's going to feel forced and kind of like, oh, look at this, look at that, and they're relying on it, but to me it's the decade that I grew up in. So to hear some of the music and some of the pop culture references and some of the technology is really taking me back to that time, and I really like how they used it in this movie. One of the big standouts for me has to be the score. There was two distinct scores. There was one in space where it was kind of like synthesized, and it really reminded me sort of Tron Legacy and that Daft Punk score. And then back on Earth, there was a type of it had a Lethal Weapon, a buddy cop type of action movie feel to it, and I really like how they had two distinct scores for the different settings in the movie. So, closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts, I've pretty much said all I could, but if you've noticed that we are not at home, it's because we're on a trip to Oxnard, and obviously we did not bring our supplies, so we're just filming it here at the movies, and yeah, just giving you our brief thoughts. So if this video is not as good as our other videos, don't worry, this isn't the last video you'll see. Yeah, this is just because we're visiting our family here from Oxnard, and we just thought to see this film while we were here.
I guess we can't close out the video without talking about the post-credit scene. That's become a staple in Marvel movies, as all you fans know. And all I gotta say is that I am incredibly hyped for Endgame in 6 weeks. And that's all I'll say about the post-credit scene. Anything you want to mention?
Yes, I have to agree with you. Is it the 26th of April yet? No, it's not, unfortunately. But hopefully it'll come by soon.
Alright guys, that's our spoiler-free thoughts on Captain Marvel out in cinemas today. Now it's your turn to comment down below. Let us know if you're planning to watch this movie. Are you a fan of Carol Danvers from the comics? Leave it all in the same place. For now, that is all.